Hello and welcome to Smart Manufacturing in Growth-Focused Companies, a discussion with Katie Evans, Research Director, Worldwide Small and Medium Business Research at IDC. I'm your host, Timo Elliott, and I'm an innovation evangelist with SAP. We're going to explore the ways in which mid-sized manufacturers are moving to smart manufacturing. The changing economics of production and distribution, along with shifts in consumer demand and the emergence of smart products, are pushing manufacturers to explore radically new ways of creating and capturing value. They're using new technologies to increase the efficiency of traditional processes and gain more value. Smart manufacturing is creating a more agile and productive industrial base in an era of market and supply chain turbulence. Welcome, Katie. What are some of the trends that you're seeing?
Thanks, Timo. It's great to be here. So one of the most important things I think to call out at the start is that smaller companies often think that these strategies may just be for larger enterprises. But recent developments, as we're discovering in cloud and edge computing, data capture and analytics, artificial intelligence, there's a huge buffet and array, have made these technologies more accessible to all sizes of businesses. Additionally, smaller manufacturers tend to have less red tape, maybe smaller production facilities, and less complex processes, which make it easier for adoption and integration of new technologies and strategies.
Great. Well, let's start by setting the scene. There have been a lot of challenges over the last few years, for example, with supply chain disruption around the globe. You recently conducted a global study on behalf of SAP, which looked into the numbers. So what did it say? Have there been growth-focused manufacturers that have been able to thrive despite the last few years of challenges and still pursue digital transformation?
Well, the answer, Timo, would be somewhat. The research found that 54% of manufacturers that we surveyed are in the advanced or have actually completed digital transformation. So a lot of progress has been made, and that's admirable. But that also means that almost half are still getting started or are in the very, very early stages of digital transformation. And the data reveals that those manufacturers that have invested in digital transformation before this most recent wave that we all know of economic instability have been able to better weather this turbulence. Our research actually broke out leading mid-sized companies. We classified leaders as those with higher revenue growth and market share growth. And leaders had consistently invested in more digital technologies overall. Leaders also have top management buy-in for the importance of digital transformation. So the leaders are willing to do the buy-in for investing in technologies and digital transformation in general.
Certainly, I echo that the customers I have had conversations with all emphasize that the manufacturers who had already invested in digital technology were able to weather the disruptions much better than those that hadn't. In fact, I remember I talked to one head of value chain who said that they were able to accelerate several years of planned innovation into just a few months, partly because they had to in order to survive. And we all know that business transformation isn't about technology, but technology is certainly a key ingredient. So Katie, what are the specific technologies that mid-sized manufacturers have been turning to?
So when we looked at the overall responses from the mid-sized companies, ERP was actually the top, especially for the leaders. Looking specifically at the responses from manufacturers, the top 3 technologies that manufacturers use or plan to use to drive growth are rated very closely. And it's technology platforms, CRM, and also ERP. Now, the main thing in those top 3 to remember is that it's all about integrated management of business processes, breaking down the silos to get a holistic view of the business. And that's what all 3 of these technologies offer.
Certainly, technologies like cloud ERP are increasingly becoming the standard foundation for any kind of business innovation. And cloud-based technologies are especially appropriate for mid-sized companies because it makes it so much easier to get up and running quickly without requiring a large IT department. And for mid-sized manufacturers in particular, They don't want to have to piece together technologies from different vendors for their smart manufacturing. They want to be able to support all of that out of the box. So Katie, what did you learn about the general business priorities for these mid-sized manufacturers?
When we asked about their most important strategies to drive growth, many said they're keeping a more watchful eye today on spend and margins, with an increased focus on spend management and improving margins. They're also seeking to attract new customers, and improving sustainability also ranked quite high. Interestingly, it was actually higher for manufacturers than overall respondents. And I wanted to back up a little bit and say, I really echo your thoughts on cloud. There's so many benefits to it. It requires less upfront capital, less technology expertise for implementation, which we all know is important for mid-sized companies. And it enables companies to scale up and down and use the computing power and pay only for what they need when they need it. But it is important to point out that in some of my more recent research, even on cloud spending, mid-sized companies are spending over budget on cloud as well. So it's important just to keep a watchful eye on your ROI and also your spend management in general, especially in these circumstances. I also wanted to point out that I'm seeing in my research more mid-sized companies realizing that sustainability initiatives can cut costs and boost brand image. So many are implementing sustainability programs to comply with current and future regulations, to take advantage of actually tax breaks, grants, or even subsidized loans that are being offered for eco-friendly businesses. So sustainability ranking high is a good sign.
And all of those goals are very much part of the notion of smart manufacturing. And as you say, sustainability in particular is becoming essential. Customers in all industries are using it now as a key purchasing criteria. And those new regulations around the world really require you to provide full visibility into the end-to-end carbon footprints of your activities and products. And looking forward, I've started to see a lot more organizations thinking about circular products that use more recycled resources in their production initially, and that they're designed with their end of life in mind, always with the goal on those new compliance laws. One of the keys for smart manufacturing in particular is data, to be able to learn and use the insights in a continuous loop of design and production improvement, always looking for new efficiencies and new types of automation. And it's also getting closer to individual customer value with a lot size of one and more product customization. And we're starting to see a lot more tailored services as part of manufacturing.
Right. I agree with that. And to echo your thoughts and just to elaborate on them a little bit, we saw that there is increased interest by manufacturers to become more service oriented. More than half of manufacturers said moving to a service-based business model was important or very important to them. So these service-based models include installation, maintenance, field support services, as well as new business models such as a service that can help manufacturers stand out from the competition. These models also, it's important to point out, can add recurring revenue streams to help these businesses better forecast and sustain revenue during more volatile economic times.
I've certainly personally talked to quite a few smaller organizations who have moved to these new services-based manufacturing business models. And the rewards can be huge with bigger margins and higher customer satisfaction. And it's often a great competitive differentiator in the market. But it's sometimes harder than people initially realize. In particular, it requires rethinking some fundamental aspects of the business model and pricing and how you support customers. And all that requires new skills as well as new technology. So Katie, what else did you learn from the research?
So to elaborate on that and to dig into that a little bit deeper, there was an interesting question we asked surrounding the manufacturing specific strategies companies plan to focus on, regardless of market uncertainty or disruptions that are out of their control. And so most of the top responses support smart manufacturing. So I'll just go into a few. So offering cutting edge services, for example, by automating factory floor or supply chain processes, digitizing manufacturing processes with things like robotic process automation or AI or artificial intelligence, and developing smart and sustainable products, even using sensored-enabled products.
Katie, so far, we've been quite rosy about the benefits of smart manufacturing. What are some of the challenges for mid-sized companies in bringing on new technology, for example?
Right. We all know that there's no wonderful benefit without a few hurdles in the way and a couple challenges. So we did ask about top challenges in bringing on technology for mid-sized manufacturers. And as you can see here, a big one is lack of IT talent, and costs were also a top challenge that was cited. So IT staffs at mid-sized firms are often small or even non-existent. In my conversations with many of these companies, many say their IT staffs are just too busy with the day-to-day operations to really focus on moving the company forward in strategic digital transformation to move the needle. Another big challenge is getting senior management to dedicate the dollars to technology, digital transformation. That's also a big headwind that's been noted.
Well, certainly finding the right people is an ongoing challenge in today's tight labor markets. But at least with cloud-based software, we see that you can get started quickly. And a lot of the best practices are embedded, so you don't have to create it all from scratch. You can focus on the essential business processes from day one. We're coming close to the end now, Katie. A final question. Based on the research and your experience in working and talking with mid-sized companies, what are your final thoughts that you'd like to leave us and them with?
Well, to really wrap things up, as we discussed, it's really important for mid-sized manufacturers to lean into technology today more than ever. Manufacturing leaders that we surveyed see technology as a competitive differentiator that can help offset things like rising costs of skills or increased interest rates or inflation. Smart manufacturing requires those smart investments. And the leaders understand that they don't need to necessarily spend less on technology. In fact, often it's the opposite, as the increased efficiency and ROI that technology will deliver will pay off quickly. But they must be very wise about their investments.
Katie, a great final point. Thank you so much for your data and insights.
Thank you. Great to be here.
We encourage you to contact your partner to learn about SAP's Cloud ERP solution for mid-sized companies, SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition, which can help your business be ready for whatever comes next. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.